All right. Now, I suspect that I'm on the wrong channel. And I switched channels. Yeah, oh my goodness. I switched channels and went live on the wrong channel. But I'm live now, hopefully, on my history student channel. Hopefully. If I'm not, let me know and I will end this stream. But I want to deal with a subject today for a really good reason. I've decided to get a feel of what's out there. I decided recently to re-enter the dating market. And it's a lot worse now than it was when I left. I mean, a lot worse. And no, I haven't DM'd one woman yet. I simply visited a couple sites, which is something I haven't done in years. I voluntarily took a hiatus from all contact with women romantically on purpose so that I could focus on building my own value as a single man. And it takes a lot of self-discipline. You have to separate yourself from the riffraff. Now, what you're looking at on the screen is it's a video, the balloon pop game, which is something I recently found out a couple days ago. Now that I'm trying to see what's out there, I'm seeing a lot of content creators I've never seen before in this sector of YouTube. So I've never heard about this balloon pop game, but I watched a few episodes, right? I watched them play. I watched the men and women. And on this particular one, it was a row of black men. And, you'll stand there with the balloon for people who don't know. And you pop the balloon if you wouldn't date the person who comes out. All right? If you would not date them, pop your balloon. If you would, and you would like to or whatever, don't pop it. So this black woman came out. And she was a biggin. A biggin. Now this is what they call or consider carrying their weight well. No. This is obesity. Okay? And it's it's unattractive, unhealthy, and it shows a serious lack of self-discipline and value for self. And that's what turns men off. But anyways, every black man in this lineup popped their balloon. Popped it. Look at how this joker right here is looking at her. She was being sarcastic, condescending. I seen the black men, the criticism they get if a woman pops her balloon. She has to give a reason why she popped her balloon, why she wouldn't date him. The black men, generally, they just took the criticism. She was like rude, sarcastic, and she's obese. This is obesity. Look at her arms. She is heavier than me. And do y'all know the average black woman in America is 20 pounds heavier than me as I speak? What is it, like 187 pounds? I'm sitting here now after about 3 weeks of light working out at 165 pounds, 6'1". Again, 6'1". One, I've heard black women up here like 5'1", 5'2", 5'3", like 180 pounds. That's like, how are you built at that weight? You're just round. Round. What can you do with a round woman? You can't do much. And if you figure out something to do with a woman that size, it's not going to look or feel right. It's going to feel like a humiliation ritual. Stuff like this is hard to watch. It's hard, listen, I'm one of the few black men who kind of sympathize with black. No, I won't say kind. I very much sympathize with them. I've gotten past the rage era. I've gotten past being angry. Because you can't just be infuriated forever. Eventually, you got to let it go on with your life. Now, it's more like, I feel sorry for, this is sad. How rejected they are in the dating market is sad. I'm telling you, black woman, I'm one of the few black men who still got faith in you, believe in you. But man, my argument for it is not strong. Especially now that I've gotten back in and I see what's going on here. Now look at the lineup of men. Look how good a shape they're in. One of these men, this tall black man back here, he actually told her to her face. And she starts lying about it. Now I want y'all to listen to what this man says. Now this video is courtesy of Accountable Commentary. I think you're an incredible content creator. The fact that he refuses to date black women and the fact that he advises other men, black men, to not date black women doesn't bother me. I can disagree without having, listen to this. Listen to what this man says was his reason why he popped his balloon. Wait. Okay. I'm going too far. Okay, here we go.
Defending himself. But honestly, I wouldn't necessarily go for it. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. And sir, if we can have your name, how old you are, and why you popped your balloon.
Yes, my name is Elam, and I'm 38 years old. I popped my balloon not.
Wait. I hate to cut him off. I just gotta double check. And listen, I don't know if I'm on the right. I should be on my history student channel. I don't know if I'm on the right channel. I'm gonna just continue.
Because you're not gorgeous, not because some men can't hold space for your emotions. But for me, it was the weight loss. And, well, we are all proud of you for losing the weight.
And this is her after having lost a bunch of weight, allegedly, right? What in the world did she look like before then? Baby, I don't even know how tall or short she is. I'm telling you right now, she weigh more than me. And I'm 6'1". Okay, listen.
And considering the risk long term, you may have health problems down the line that we may have to work with. And the habits that you've developed over time are going to be challenging to upkeep in your 40s and 50s and 60s. So for me, I'm concerned about your health over a long period of time.
Now listen to her response.
Okay. And
No, listen to Accountable Commentary's commentary.
Did you hear that? Does that sound disrespectful or does that sound logical? Does that sound disrespectful or does that sound logical? Look at dude next to him. Dude next to him is dying. Look at him. Look at him.
Now this is immediately now after he's just said what he said. How he looking at us?
Seriously. That's what a lot of these dudes are looking at. You know, that's in the health, that's in the working out. You work out so when you get older, you don't have these complications. Because, you know, when you older, it's a...
And this is why I said this a long time ago. I knew when I was young, when I was a teenager, that I had to stop eating the type of food that I was eating, the pizzas, all that junk food. I knew early, eventually. And I knew it was like my late 30s, but I started in my mid-20s.
A lot harder losing the weight. It's a lot harder, you know, staying in shape. So if you're already in shape, you won't have these struggles and you won't have these, you know, risk factors. And that's what he's saying. He's trying to grow old with somebody. Not trying to bury them early because they didn't take care of themselves.
Not only that, a lot of black women, when they're very obese like that, when they get older, they can't even get around. It's a challenge for them to even stand up off a chair. You don't talk about walking up a flight of stairs. In your 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, many of them become like sofa bound and just be on the couch day after day after day, all day.
Or take care of them because they didn't take care of themselves. Let's go.
Any response to that? Because believe it or not, I am a health nut. I am vegan-ish.
What?
I don't eat beef, pork, chicken, or dairy. Because I am a health nut, I go get tested.
What? I don't believe she's no vegan. She might have tried it for a little while. I'm not buying that. The denial is off the charts. Now again, since I entered back into the dating market, I started watching videos from Kevin Samuels. He asked the important questions on a consistent basis and had a lot of women coming onto his show. The denial and delusion is off the map. And I don't think it's asking for too much to say, hey, don't be delusional. Don't lie. Don't be dishonest. Okay, let me let her finish.
Because believe it or not, I am a health nut. I am vegan-ish.
What?
I don't eat beef, pork, chicken, or dairy. Because I am a health nut, I go get tested for everything. I have no high cholesterol, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, no nothing. I'm completely healthy.
But you're on the path to it. So it's nothing to brag about. And I heard this several times. Big Shirley, big girls, talking about I'm healthy. They want to sit up and say, oh, the skinny girls be unhealthy. Yeah, anybody can have a medical condition. Obesity is unhealthy, period. It puts a massive strain on your whole body, all throughout your body. And listen, that's not a discussion. That's not a debate. It's not a good thing. And really, to be honest, she shouldn't even be dating right now. Listen, whenever I'm out of shape, I'm not on a date. I take myself off the market. I don't feel good enough about myself to try to sell myself to somebody else. And so many of these women were obese, expecting men to choose them. And they're serious about it. Hey, pick me. She got you by 50, 75 pounds, flirting with you, expecting some feedback. No. Black men have more self-discipline. And that's one of the things black men ask for. I don't think that's asking for much. Losing weight is not that difficult. Again, you can train your body to get used to pretty much any diet. I don't buy this idea that it's so impossible and so difficult to change it. I just don't buy it. If you just keep trying, eventually it's going to happen. Now, some people will say, well, more black men are in shape because black men are more active. They play basketball, right? They're more likely to be into sports, stuff that'll keep them in good shape. My answer to that is, well, y'all can do the same thing. Find something to do. Don't you enjoy dancing? Make a promise to dance for 30 minutes a day. Don't tell me you can't make 30 minutes. You can't make room for, don't tell me that. I don't care what you're doing for a living. You got 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 5 days a week is sufficient. Dance hard. Working out is supposed to be fun. You can make it fun. I don't take no excuses. No excuses. And that's just the workout part of it. And if you're dancing, and I'm talking about the women who don't like working out. So I'm talking about the most challenged demographic out there. If you don't like working out, you dread the thought of working out, then don't work out. Dance. Put your earbuds in, listen to your favorite music, and dance. And if you got your friend or sister with you, even better. You can make it fun. Why don't you? Why aren't there any groups or whatever? Your diet. Again, I don't buy this idea. Listen, I know I'm one of the few people who on a vegan diet. I won't say raw because I do eat beans. And I used to be obese. Granted, I became obese on purpose, knowing that I was going to lose it again because I was into weightlifting. You're supposed to intake calories. Whole different story. My point is, black men see a lack of self-discipline and they don't like it. Another thing they don't like. You see, the internet gave black men a voice, and that's the thing that we're dealing with right now. Throughout the 80s, early 90s, what was being cultivated in this country was a bunch of lies and negative stereotypes about black men. Being deadbeats, not wanting to take care of their kids, being abusive, being predators. We've always been projected like that. Bills running rapid, and the everyday black man had no voice. Nobody was giving us a platform. That was a crucial turning point in history. If y'all listening to this video 100 years from now, y'all need to understand that. We were being demonized. It's starting with the 70s, with the feminist movement. We were being demonized. There was an uptick. And they were pulling black women. They were making articles, quoting the things that, like the everyday black woman was saying. Give us why are you single? And all this kind of stuff. Oh, because black men are this and black men are that. Right? The swirling always had to be because black men were so inadequate. Oh, there are too many of them locked up in jail. Even that was proven to be a lie. All of stereotypes that you heard throughout the 80s, early 90s have been proven, have been debunked. Every single one of them. And what we're looking at right now is like a mass exodus. And this is sad. Away from black women by all groups of men. All groups of men. It's so bad now, black women having a hard time traveling overseas because the men over there immediately look at them in a negative way. They're coming up dead in many cases. Black American women who are traveling abroad. There's a huge problem. Nobody can deny that. So the internet gave black men a voice. And since it has given black men a voice and they've taken advantage of the internet and being able to give their side of the story, it was a mass exodus to the internet to hear what black men had to say. And everybody started to see the truth. And it made black women's image look bad. Worse. It made it look worse. It had already looked bad. Now you look at these statistics. What do black men ask for? What are they asking for in the modern? Cooperation. I don't think that's difficult. That's not asking much. Cooperate. Be a partner. Strengthen him. Right? Strengthen his ideas, his goals. It's nothing negative. I don't think it's difficult to cooperate. In the black community, a lot of black women like to be the boss, like to be the one who calls the shots. They like to be the one who says what goes and what does not go. And that has to go. This is what black men, listen, black men are looking for submission. Why? Why are we looking for submission? And what we mean by that is we ultimately make the decisions. Why? It's because we're sacrificing ourselves for you. Most modern women want traditional men, but don't want to be traditional women. They want us to pay most of the bills, if not all of them. I couldn't believe this. How many black women today want to be able to sit at home and not work? They want a classic traditional man. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I could not believe how many of them said they wanted to find a man who would take care of them. That ain't gonna fly. Now look, a lot of men might do it. You do got a lot of those types of men out here. Good luck with that. But men who are worth anything, they're not gonna be willing to do that. And it surprised me to see, I'm still surprised to see how many black women actually expect black men to do that, to accept your kids. And as if they're his kids. Again, I've been seeing men do that my whole life. But good luck to that. It seems like today, even many of them are fed up. So cooperation, respect. Okay, if there's no respect, I don't care how you look. I don't care if you have no kids. I don't care if you're fitting in shape. If you're disrespectful, if you're condescending, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He's not going to be able to tolerate you for long. He might try to get what he wants, and then he's going to move on. That's not difficult. If you find it difficult to show respect, you might need therapy. And listen, I don't agree with everything Kevin Samuels says. But when he talks about therapy, I think it would help. It's not difficult to show respect. That's not asking for much at all. Now I'm going to get into some other things after I show y'all this, after we go over this right here. We might be here a little while, so get comfortable.
The black women really become this daddy, modern women. You notice I what, man?
Social media.
Oh boy.
And
Do you guys see your own behavior?
I think so. I think we definitely do. It's just about what you're willing to deal with and what you're not willing to deal with.
What do you mean?
In life, I think that there are certain things that society has kind of played a role in
And
what
society got nothing to do with how you choose to act to be. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 28.
28 years old. So if you say modern women see their own behavior, then why y'all acting the way y'all acting?
Social media.
Social media ain't got nothing to do with whether or not you decide to smile at a man.
That's true.
You notice, what did I say two broadcasts ago? Accountability is kryptonite to modern women. Blah, blah, blah. It ain't my problem. Social media is society.
Y'all know what? I thought my mother was the only black woman like this, who could never be wrong, who always got to be right no matter what. No matter how clearly you lay it out that they're wrong, they will not admit it. I thought it was just my mother. Man, yeah, boy, was I wrong.
Okay.
You can't work with anybody like that, even a friend.
Really? The black women really become this lacking in accountability?
What do you feel like has made us be the way that we are, or I guess like in a negative connotation or a negative way of what you
I'm asking questions. My thing is, where are your people from? What state?
North Carolina. My mother is from New Jersey and my father's from North Carolina.
So if you went back to your grandmother, your great grandmother, your great great grandmother, were those women made of stronger stuff than today's modern woman?
Oh, definitely.
Why? They had less education, less money, harder times.
True.
So why are we getting what we get? With more education, more money, and easier times.
I want to interject. That's a good point Kevin Samuels brings up quite often. You look at black women, late 1800s, early 1900s. They were in better shape and in general more cooperative. But they were more so under black men's direction back then. And that was a huge reason why. Think about it. They stayed in better shape when they were under black men's direction. The more they were under black men's direction and influence. Remember, black code laws, Jim Crow laws made the black community extremely concentrated. So we have more control over our own cultural influence, our own culture, period. And they stayed more active with us. They stayed in better shape with us. And then after the 60s and 70s, they sort of just blew up en masse. And having a black man in the home didn't help. It doesn't help now. Because we as black males, we were being born under single mothers who were eating a whole bunch of junk and garbage. There was no black man to help regulate the intake of food, what's going in the fridge, what's going in the cabinets. Okay, so that's a problem.
When you say what do you all get, you mean as far as men? What you all are getting?
Yes. Yeah. Are you married?
I'm not.
Okay. Ever been married?
No.
You want to be married?
Definitely.
Want children?
I do.
Any children already?
No.
How tall are you?
5'1".
Best size?
8.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
150.
You have a very full face for a size 8.
Thank you.
Y'all saw in the thumbnail I put stop lying. That's another thing that surprised me here. How prevalent lying is and being dishonest. Is it really a struggle to tell the truth? Okay, he checks her on that. This is bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at you on camera and you are not a dress. I'm looking at your Instagram. That ain't no dress size 8.
You don't think so?
Man, I'm an image consultant. You're a bit of a 12.
How you get size 8 confused? Because I know for a fact there are a lot of people who don't know how much of a difference there is with dress sizes, right? So I just want to show the people real quick what they look like. The difference between a size 8 and a size 12 is huge. And you could tell just by looking at her. So why lie? And then she had to turn around and admit that she was lying. Now look at this. I want y'all to look at the difference between these dress sizes. I have to show it for the video. There's no hurry. Okay? Look at this. She's saying that she was this woman's size. 12 is in between these. I see that a lot, where it's all over these dating sites. They claim to be in shape. Oh, it's in the right places. No, you just obese. You got to stop minimizing. You got to stop doing that. You should project your weight as being worse than it actually is. Right? Worse. That's only going to help you, trust me. That's what I do. A lot of people, yeah, like, hey, you too hard. You too strict on yourself. No, you got to do whatever work. Whatever get results, do it.
Don't lie to me. I'm looking right here.
Okay.
So why not just be honest? See what I mean? You'll get online and just tell me I don't see what I see.
Now, a lot of black men, black women, consider him rude just for carrying on the type of dialogue that you hear here. No. It's straightforward, honest talk. He keeps those women honest. Requires that they stay honest. And he spends a lot of time getting them to stop lying, to stop being delusional. I mean, the delusion is so unchecked. It's truly shocking. It is seen as acceptable to be 50 pounds overweight and to have kids. No. And listen, us not wanting to be a stepfather, it makes you look bad. We all know the truth. That's another man's child. Constant reminder. You're literally carrying your baby's daddy with you in the form of your child with him. And the number of women who decided to leave after having kids with a man, left them for no reason at all. Thought I could do better. And almost all of them say they were abused. Oh, there started to become some abuse. Again, the lying and dishonesty, it drives men crazy. It drives us crazy. In most cases, they wasn't being abused. In many of those cases, they were the ones being abusive. And again, delusion, dishonesty, don't view themselves as being abusive. That's part of the reason why so many studies have been done showing that black women are the least desired group of women and group, period. And I'm saying that you can fix that.
Okay. I haven't been. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I'm going to say that you get online and you act like I don't see what I see, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Everybody can see.
No, I was going to say I haven't been fitted for a dress in a minute, so I may be wrong.
Man.
Yes.
When was the last time you weighed yourself?
A few weeks ago. But I have been working out. Can you give me that?
No.
I have been working out. You're not going to give me
that?
that?
I can't give you nothing without no kids and no husband. I can't give you that. You should be able to 110 pounds.
That's another thing. A lot of them say, was you bucking her? A lot of them say they've been working out, and they be lying. They be straight up lying. It's too easy for them to lie, and it's to the point where, and I'm not saying all of them, there was too many of them. And that was the thing that Kevin Samuel's show did. It got rid of the stereotypes and revealed all the patterns. And these are the patterns. Lying is a big problem. That's a big problem, right? So we disrespect, cooperate, be his partner, not his mom, not his boss, right? Not his overseer. No, be his support base. And it's like too many black women don't know how. They don't even know what that means. Self-esteem. Black men are turned off by women who come off as if they have low self-esteem. But it's worse with black men because their self-esteem represents itself in an anti-black way. So it's like, whoa, it's off-putting. It's off-putting for black men. A lot of us don't understand it. You know, we just, look at this. We just don't. And this is who you got to thank for that. The woman, well, yeah, for modern weaving, the weaving that you see today, you got Christina Jenkins to thank for that. She was the woman. Now, weaves were being worn even back then. Hair weaving was going around back then, but it wasn't real human hair. Jenkins came up with the idea of making a net, a base for the hair weave, because women's wig were falling off too much. They was rocking wigs heavy back then. Their wig fall off all over, everywhere. Everywhere you go, women's wigs falling off. Many of them, their wigs falling. Many of them today wear wigs. But Jenkins came up with the idea of sewing the hair down, so you, and that being the base, and then you sew the hair in it. Well, this Jenkins lady was the first one to come up with the idea of using real human hair. Real human hair. And women just don't understand how much that made it worse in the eyes of many black men. They already thought the conking. And understand, black men have been speaking against conking ever since it's been out. Even Marcus Garvey was speaking against that. Speaking against the Madam C.J. Walker and her hot comb and all that kind of stuff. They was rocking the wigs and whatnot. But when you're going to add human hair, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. That's when it becomes deep at that point. You know, we was hearing a lot of stuff like, oh, we just want a diversity. When it turns out, no, you literally wanted their literal hair. So we knew that was a lie even back then. When it was lying, talk about, we just want to change up. We just want to look different. We sitting back like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. No, you want to look like a white girl. You want to be a white girl. As much like a little white girl as possible. You're just content with being a white woman, looking like a white woman with dark skin. Broad lips, broad noses. Turn to find out that's the truth, and they're willing to pay hundreds of dollars for this real human hair. But it's, okay, let's deal with how nasty it is. We got to deal with how nasty it is. And understand, this hair is valued because it comes with the cuticles. Cuticles included. You can't make this up. Hair extensions made of true virgin raw cuticle hair have the most durability and ease. Lord. Yeah. Look at this. Okay, this is very sad. On this website, they're going over the different eras of weaving. The Beyonce era. Do y'all know that Indian hair is donated for religious purposes? A lot of hair weave come out of India. Yeah. You know how much that it has significance at that point. You're saying something else when you're wearing their actual human hair. You know what I'm saying? You can no longer say you're just looking for a different look. You can no longer say you're just trying to change up. You see what I mean? And listen, getting rid of that hair weave, all it does is just makes you normal. You don't become no queen. You're not then deserving to be called a goddess and be worshipped. No, it's just that now you're on the same level as all the other women in the world. You're being yourself. And that's what it is. It's the principle behind it of being a natural woman. You're being yourself. You're having your own look. You're having a look that you own. Black men look at you as the way you are in this goofy, sick, unattractive weave. That's not you. You see, it's about being real more than anything. It's about black men wanting you to be a real person, be a genuine person. But this is a huge part of it. And it's a breaking point for a whole lot of black men. Now you can no longer deny the look you was trying to attain. You can no longer make up a lie. Not when these women right here chop off their head and give it to black women. Huh? I don't want to hear nothing about you being creative and looking for alternatives, trying to be abstract, trying to switch up your look and all this kind of stuff. It's irrefutable at this point. It's so bad. Many of them steal this stuff. Many of them, they got to have it. They come in the stores with bonnets on. See, when the weave ain't popping, they got to hide their head. And some of them will go and actually try to steal this stuff. If you're just looking for a change up and your weave get raggedy, you got to take it out. Show us that creativity you talking about. Right? You trying to just have variety. Well, show variety. They don't do that. They wrap that skull, they wrap their head up. They cover it up. Like this slavery days. It's a breaking point for a lot of men. Are you really saying that it's a lot? It's asking for much to ask women to stop doing this? No, it's not. Black women at this point should do whatever black men want. Whatever is prevalent across the board, do it. If not, the only alternative is to stay single. Fewer and fewer, pay close attention, fewer and fewer non-black men are willing to date black women. And more non-black men who are willing to date black women are dating them for sinister reasons. There's a larger population of the non-black men now who are dating black women for the sole purpose of degrading them. Some of the stories that black women with white boyfriends, with Latino boyfriend, Asian boyfriend, are horrible, and we all heard them. How many of their white boyfriends turned out to be a bona fide racist? I can't even remember how many stories I've heard like that. You can't even count the number of interracial relationships that are successful because they end up been dating a racist. So I'm seeing all groups of men running away from black women. And so black women, it's not too late. It's not too late. I'm interested to see how y'all gonna respond to this. Because listen, this is the era of eyes being on black women. And it's like, you can't avoid it. If you're a black man, it's natural for you to want a family. So it's natural for you to evaluate the women available for you. Me, if I don't marry a black American woman, I just won't get married. And I've accepted that most likely that's what's going to happen. most likely, there's a huge chance, I'd say well over 90% chance I die alone. So this is not targeting of black women or nothing like that. We're talking about the options available. Black women can't call us deadbeats or criminals no more. Yes, there's a demographic of black men who are in gangs, who are degenerates, complete and utter degenerates. For the largest percentage of those black males, let me say, they didn't raise themselves like that. Most of them, when they were growing up, their mothers plopped them in front of TV and let them stay there as long as possible and let the TV raise them. How else do you think the TV is going to raise them? And that's a powerful influence of television. And a lot of these modern knuckleheads, they're nothing but a duplication of what you see in these rap videos, for the most part. They basically worship these rappers. And if you so much don't want them to be that way, so much criticism, then encourage black women to not allow that stuff in their home. I haven't heard that type of movement at all. I've heard the divestment movements, swirling movements, bullet bag movements, right? Listen, black men would never create a slogan that references to the killing of black women at the hand of white cops. Black men would never create a slogan that references in for the sole purpose of mocking a black woman. My point is, we have sat back and seen black women do and say things that we ourselves, that's not in us to do. And y'all gotta stop it. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Y'all act possessed by an evil spirit. Bullet bags. How'd that ever become a thing? Why is it so easy for them to wish death? Death on black. And many of these black women had sons. The migration, the migration of black women to Cynthia G, that did a tremendous damage to their image in the eyes of black men, because so many black men were oblivious to the thought of black women campaigning for their extermination. They had never heard of black women having discussions about aborting black boys, making it a point, a conscious point, that if they're pregnant by a black man and they're going to have a black boy to abort it. They would have never guessed. So they would go over to that channel, hear that narrative, and see endless comments praising it. Do you know how much that scared, especially young black boys? They never consider that young boys going to be reading that stuff. 10, 11, 12 years old. How you think this going to make them feel? What type of adult you think they're going to grow up to be? There should have been so much backlash. Cynthia G shouldn't have been able to exist on the internet. And all for what? All for what? What was the point? What was the reason? So many of them wishing death. They have shown that they're willing to go to extremes collectively and individually that black men won't go to collectively or individually. Seems to me black men have more general respect for black women than black women have for them. Some of these content creators, y'all hear them. They won't date black women. They refuse to date them, but they talk about black women a lot. Right? But they refuse to date them. Why do you think they're doing that? And if you ask me, it's because they would accept black women if they were to change. I believe so, because it would be such a shock to them. Put it like this. Do you think there's anything that Chinese women could do collectively that would change the world economy? Do you literally think they could groom themselves in a way that would take food off of other people's tables, close businesses and empires? No. What could they do? I don't care what kind of hairstyle they rock. See, this is what proves what we've been saying the whole time. Do you think there's anything that white American women could do that would impact the economy? Do you think they could groom themselves in a way that would have any impact on the rest of the world? No, that's only true with black women. If they were to get rid of this weave culture, man, please. Why is that? It's because their self-hatred has been monetized. It's so out in the open. Their lack of self-esteem is so out in the open, people have decided to capitalize on it financially. When all you got to do is say, that's not my hair, so I ain't putting it over my head. I don't want to hear nothing about being bald or none of that mess. Their hair, your hair only becomes damaged and messed up from the braids, the weaving, the fishnet that they create, all the tugging and pulling, all of that. You leave your scalp alone and be just fine, just like everybody else's scalp. They get old and then they realize they're bald. Because you bald because you've been destroying your scalp. Stop doing that. If black women simply did what all other groups of women do, they would change the whole world economy, man. Asia is prospering. That's a multi-billion-dollar industry, man. It's ridiculous at this point. How much is being made off that? Look at the background. Vietnam, most of it come from Vietnam, India, but listen, that's not the only places that come. They also come from Europe. So this is fascinating to me, because the hair didn't have to come from white women. Even though it's white women's image that's been heavily embedded in black women's psyche, it didn't have to come. It could come from some other race of women who had the same genetics, the same hair genetics as white women. Which tells you what? That black women, they want to be anything other than black women. Most black men don't like that. They're turned off by that. So everything is extreme. The lack of self-esteem is extremely represented. It's irrefutable. The obesity is irrefutable. It's right there in your face. And oh my goodness, if that wasn't bad enough, the attitude, the combativeness, it's like, wow, y'all need to have a good woman movement where you don't do nothing but encourage positive, respectful attitudes towards men, where you consciously talk about improving your respect, the respect you have for men. You've had all these other movements. How to Be a White Man's Whore. That was a book written. Look at the book movement they had. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing for many black men. They're like, man, some black men who would have been willing to date black women, they'll come across this stuff and be like, no, I'm not. Yeah, like, no, thank you. I mean, this is serious. Right now, black women have a state of emergency. Their siren is going off right now for black women. They are losing badly, and they have to do something to change it. Right now, it's 2024. Y'all can't afford to wait no longer. You got to do something now. And understand something else. Black women, I need you to understand something else. Yeah, I'm talking to you, black woman. You,
Excuse me.
let me tell you something else. With or without weave, you look extremely different from all other women. Shave y'all bald. You look a lot different from all other women. So you may as well be yourself. Even with that goofy weave, you look a lot different from all other women. So you may as well do like black men have done. And just be yourself. Look at this.
Excuse me. But what is this? I guess I'm late for the party because I'm just now seeing this on social media. But what is this? And if it's not the definition of playing in our face, and the next question is, what are we going to do about it? Because I'm thoroughly pissed. And if this doesn't open some people's eyes about what they think about us and how they feel about us and how we don't really matter to them, if this doesn't open some people's eyes, I don't know what will. Because this is effing ridiculous.
This comes out of Asia, right? It's got Asian writing on it. It's a big, obese, Lizzo-looking Walmart sister. Walmart. Got a watermelon, big bucket of chicken, some handcuffs, and a stolen item or two. What's going on here? This comes from where most of their hair weave comes from. There's a spirit over there. A racist spirit in Asia. Many of them give their literal hair to black women. And they sew it onto their scalp. So it seems like black women are they're starting to draw anti-black male energy from all sources, all different types of sources. Coming from slavery here in America, and in a spiritual way, acquiring the literal hair from countries where a certain segment of them really hate and despise black people. You could very well be getting hair from a person who hates your flipping guts. I just don't think that's smart.
What is this? Somebody tell me. What are your feelings about this? Like this post and comment below. I don't know what we need to do to make these people feel our wrath other than to not spend our money with them.
Look at how much motivation black women have to not spend their money on hair weave. You're going to financially empower people like this? Look at how much motivation there is for them to not co-sign with hair weave. And it doesn't work. Okay, it's not working. A lot of us are confused about that. We're very confused. Now, I watched this other show, and I think I mentioned this story, where this black woman told a story about going on a date with a white guy. And when they went on the date, the white guy asked her if she could put her white girl hair in. And she got offended because she was wearing braids. Your white girl, could you put your white girl hair in? So that's how they look at it. So they look at black women as walking around with white girl hair. Don't y'all find that embarrassing? En masse, individually and collectively? That would shock me away from wearing hair weave. Like, whoa, you ain't gonna never catch me in a situation like that. What can you say? Speaking of braids, why don't y'all just rock braids your whole life? There ain't nothing wrong with a good head of cornrows. That's a natural black hairstyle. If you like long hair, fine. Your hair will be very long if you just leave your scalp alone. What's wrong with that? Not even that works. And it's seen as a black hairstyle. So this is my plea to a dying group of people. I value black people, my people. I value myself as a black man so much that I believe the world will be a better place with us here. I want to help us to stay in existence. You see, a part of that is make sure you stay in existence. It's at the point now, some black men, they don't care no more themselves. They're like, man, forget it. I'm going to avoid these women. No other group of women en masse have their men talking about how important it is to avoid their own women. This is a state of emergency. Look at I can't find them. I've looked. Avoid your own women. There's a movement. A lot of black men are at that point. And it's not because of something they did. They're responding to the dysfunction. So listen, you could continue to be the boss, snap your fingers, and roll your neck if you want to. If you want to stay single, if you want to just kill yourselves off, you have the right to do that. But the question is, why don't you care? Why don't you care about your weight, how you look, your health? Living a long life, feeling good, feeling better. They say a lot of black women deal with depression. Working out helped to reduce depression. But a lot of black women say they like to eat more when they're depressed. But that just makes your depression worse. Being overweight, obese, increase the chances you're going to feel depressed. Now, you might feel good as you eating that bucket of ice cream, only because the sugars have an effect on your brain. But after you're done, a couple hours later, depression come right back. It's even stronger now because of the sugar rush. Now you got to eat 2 buckets of ice cream. And the cycle keep repeating itself. One day you look in the mirror and you're round. Your body's hanging all over the place. Why don't you want to have a better, improve y'all's image? I'm genuinely asking, what's going on in y'all's brains? Self-discipline. I view that as something that that men have naturally. It's one of the values of fathers, of men, period. More than anything, we have self-discipline. If you don't have a father in the house, there's a good chance your kids will lack self-discipline. So when it comes to advice about self-discipline, you should listen to the men. Now, like I said, I recently went back into the dating market. A big reason why it's hard for me to find a suitable mate is because of self-discipline. I'm vegan. The fact is, meat is unhealthy. Most women can't become vegan. I work out. More of them work out, but it's not that many of them. It's not that many black women who work out specifically. Already we got a problem. I value my health, so I don't go around animals. So no pets. No pets in the house. You have no idea how much that impacts your health. Especially, and you definitely shouldn't have no kids, no babies in no house with no cat or dog running around. No pets. Already, they cringe. A big one. You're not always right. You're not, in fact, man, dare I say, you're usually wrong. I couldn't believe how often, it's mind-boggling, how often Kevin Samuels' guests were flat out wrong. And it's like they could not ever admit it. Be honest. That don't even take effort. That don't take energy. Don't try to project yourself as perfect. None of us are. There ain't nothing special about you. No matter how dysfunctional you are. You know, everybody, we've seen it all before. There's no reason to lie. Now, as far as kids, I don't think it's so bad, but if you're a single mother, you shouldn't go after a single man with no kids. But there's some men with kids who are willing to date you because they got kids too. But even then, a lot of men try to avoid single mothers. You know what really hurts black women is what they call the whole phase of their life. And I believe some women of other groups have said that before as well. Women have what they consider a whole phase. That's where they just, do their thing. They're out here loose in the streets, going from man to man. And the problem is that a lot of them end up getting pregnant during that phase. Pregnant by a guy who she just wanted to have fun with. So your irresponsibility becomes living. Right? And then they think, oh, I can just get a man anytime. And when they find out most men are not checking for women with kids, it's too late. So what's going on in your mind? There's been a war between black males and black females. It really started with stereotypes. Black women co-signed with those stereotypes. And then later with the internet, black men responded. They started responding immediately, soon as the internet got popping. And I hate to say, but black men have won. They won. It's a wrap. This idea that black women were the most successful. Why are so many of the stereotypes about how superior black women are, why have so many of them been proven false? It shows you it was all a propaganda. Black women being the most successful, it came out to be a lie. That's not true. It was never true. Oh, they open more businesses than any other group. No, they do nails. They make a couple dollars doing nails, and on paper, they're their own employee. This lie that came out that they're the most educated. Why was that going over so well? Why? When it did not deal with graduation rates. They were the most enrolled. In some areas, they were said to be the most likely to drop out too, to not finish college. But anything they could grab to project themselves as superior to black men have been looking at this strive to be superior to black men and just been turned off by it. So they're the most enrolled, not the most to graduate. And then they graduate. They've accumulated a debt while they were in school, some of them. With or without the debt. They find a job that pays, I don't know, $25 an hour. Right? But they're at a desk. They feel uppity. So they still feel superior to black men. Problem is, they can't work no more than 40 hours. I've laid this out several times. They can't work no more than 40 hours. Whereas black men are willing and able to work more. And what do you know? When you work over 40 hours, you get time and a half. So you make $10 an hour. Now you're making $15 per hour. We were willing and able to do that. Another reason why we're in better shape on average. But now guess what? You're no longer more successful. You're not really balling like that. Right? Years ago, I said this, years ago. Even though he's getting his hands dirty, you in the office, you still think you're superior? Even though you got less spending money? You're less likely to pay your bills? Especially if something crazy come up? Is that really something to try to brag about, rubbing black men's faces? No. Another fact. Black men are most likely to date you. We're far more likely to date and marry black women than any other race of men. Isn't that like motivation to be nice and cooperative, to work out, to not smear our image? You know, black men looking like what? Like they're not motivated to do nothing but rip us apart. Right? That's the only thing they're motivated to do. Like, what's the problem here? So a lot of black men are confused and they're like, look, man, I give up. I give up. They throw up their hands. They can't take it no more. I believe black men have shown a whole lot of, they've led by example. The single mother thing, that turned out to be a huge lie. Why did that go over so well? The DL thing, about there being an epidemic of black men being on the DL. Why did that go over so well? Why do negative things about us go over so well with black women? Not all of them, exceptions, not the rules. But I've seen whole rooms of them get on code. They will get on code with each other when it comes to bashing black men. You better believe. Real quick. It's like a culture among them. An anti-black male thing. They got more smoke for us than any other group of women. And it's by far. That's why black men date out more than any other group of men. I think more than any other group, period. Except for maybe Asian American women. Black men date out more than any other group of men. At the same time that black women having a swirl movement, bullet bag movement, and at the same time they're single more than ever, and black men are the ones most likely. You know, you're having a crusade against the wrong group. Black males, the one group you shouldn't have no social crusade against. You're not going to, big mama them into submission. You're not going to be able to shame them or anything like that. You have to either cooperate or vanish, disappear. I was listening to a video earlier of one of Kevin's videos, and he seemed like an educated man with a lot of experience. He said he don't know what to do. He said if you dealing with women who you can't tell anything to, what can you do? You see, let's say I'm a physical coach. If somebody just don't want to work out, what am I gonna do? Make them? I'm gonna force them to work out? So the choice is yours. Listen. You're stuck in 40 hours a week, making $25 an hour, tens of thousands of dollars of debt just hanging there. And you want to live a lavish lifestyle, and you're buying hair, $200-$300 a bundle. You have a high consumer rate, really spending more than they brought in. But it just felt good to say they were more successful than black men. And I kept trying to stress to them, even if you had college degrees like that, black men make more money. It's simple as that. On average, the average black man, the average man, period, make more money. Why? They're more willing to do demanding jobs. Even the jobs I've worked through my whole life. The women tend to get different types of jobs that's less strenuous. Some jobs you see that are high paying, you only see men doing it. Construction, welding. In the welding field, it's well over 90%, I think, with welders. Those are good paying, skilled jobs. Electricians, truck drivers. Many of these men make over $100,000 a year. And many of them were black. And you were calling them dusties? A dusty movement. How many anti-black movements have they had? Y'all were looking down on black male plumbers because they got their hands dirty? Wasn't in a suit? Anything they could find, they were doing it. And a lot of black men started looking at them like, wait a minute. A lot of black men was like, wait a minute. Y'all behave just like white supremacists. And this happened in phases. Black men started to run away from women in phases. They're like, man, if you examine all these things, they behave towards us like white supremacists themselves. Y'all can't continue on this path if you want to survive. You want to find a man, you got to put an end to a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things. And another thing that confused me. In today's world, how can so many of them expect a man to take care of them? Expect to be an at-home wife. Now listen, I can understand if a woman wants a man who makes more money than her. Because during pregnancy, she might need some time off. She's going to need some time off. There's going to come times where she really need to stay at home with the baby, right? So I can understand that. I can understand a woman wanting a man with stable income, especially if she herself, only if she herself has demonstrated her own ability to keep a job. And as soon as everything is right back, you going right back to work. This is what most black men is saying. We're not about to take care of you. When the laws that y'all fought for gave y'all the ability to do everything we do. Y'all can work construction just like us. You can be a welder just like us. I work in the welding industry. Hundreds, about, 300-400 employees. All welders. There's about 5 women there. Right? Shout out, they're all black women. Black women. Just doing the same thing we doing. Getting that money. And there's so many occupations. Not just trucking, electricians, welders. How do you get to the point where you're looking down on men like that? The lack of respect for black men's ability to think. They really don't respect our intelligence. This desire many of them have to be smarter, intellectually superior, that turns men off. You eventually end up treating them like they're a boy, like they're a child, which is another thing, a part of the culture. You're just a grown boy. You're not a real man. These other races of men are real men. You're just a boy. And what black men will end up seeing is that when they deal with a white girl, Hispanic girl, Asian girl, those women treat them like men. It's gotten so bad where other races of women have advantages over black women like that. I'm just relaying what I see right now. What do you think their reaction's going to be when they get that type of energy from a cute Latina? When she seems fascinated by his masculinity, right? She feels overwhelmed by his touch and his look, his manliness. How do you think those black men gonna feel when they then come around you disrespecting him, talking down on him, trying to mock his intelligence, showing disregard for him, belittling him? That has become a part of black female culture. I mean, listen, they've even monetized that. Y'all got to push back against this thought culture. The Suki Hanas, Sexy Reds, the Lizzos. Examples of how they've tried to monetize black women's dysfunction. Granted, in many of these videos, they exaggerated. But these are real world women. You got to clean up yourselves. I don't even care if you don't date black men. I don't care. clean up yourselves just to clean up yourselves. And let me retract. I do care. I don't want to see black men out here acting a buffoon. At the end of the day, we all black people. We're not separated. We're separated by genitals. We're all black people. So I feel compelled, I feel motivated to give you some good advice. And got nothing to do with who you decide to date. Black men never really cared about who you decide to date. You want to swirl? Hey, knock yourself out. But because we're all black people, we're still looking at black people doing something that's shameful and disgraceful. Point where you're being disrespectful to just black people as a group, even yourselves. There's a lot that men in general have to offer. We have a different way of thinking that's designed to be complemented by women. And too many black women seem allergic to be that type of compliment. Instead, they want to dominate. Where'd that come from? This desire to dominate and be dominant over black males. Who cares? Just get rid of it. A big reason why so many black men date interracially is because a lot of non-black women, they see how brilliant black men, they see how valuable they are. They are very hard workers, no matter what they're doing. And this is what the bosses and the supervisors not going to tell you. No matter what the job is, they're some of the best workers in the world. And they're not lazy. So, good luck. You should get into the habit of being a traditional woman. Because just about all the black women are looking for a traditional man. Right? Pay most of the bills, 70%. What are you asking? You want to pay for 30% of the bills, me 70? They're out here asking for stuff like that, expecting stuff like that. You know how much of a true woman you have to be for men to be willing to do that? So I hope to see some type of movement like that. Right? What could you call it? What could you call it? Got to stop the lying. Yeah. I read a comment recently from a black woman said, "Oh, black men ask for too much. They demand too much." No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't. Everything they're asking for is given to other men by their women on a regular. Oh, yeah. There's a respect they give their men. And y'all cannot hold the fact that we don't control this country. Y'all cannot hold that against us. That should make you even more cooperative. Right? You should be even more of a lady. Again, black men are the ones most likely to marry you. And it's by far. You know how serious that is? Y'all have to operate based on your differences, whether you like it or not. And the truth of the matter is, most other races of men view you as less human. It's easier for them to just use and abuse you. Use you for sex. But the thing is, many of you are okay with that. Many of you, that's all you want is his seed. Right? So what can we do about that? Black men look at that, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm good. I'll just deal with a Latina, a Becky, right? I'll just deal with that. I'm good. But it's looking bad, ladies. They're having fun with it. They're making mockery of it at this point. They can't wait. These people who own these websites, they can't wait to do a study on their dating website to see who's the most and least desirable. So they can hop in pretty much every single result. Shows they're the least. Most least desirable. I don't even see black women dealing with this. Do y'all not? So y'all don't see this as a big deal either? It seems like black women as a whole, they don't look at anything as being really important. Right? Wait a minute. I'm going to find this study. Okay. Now maybe this is bias. Maybe not. Now I don't know what she's gonna say.
Apparently, race matters a lot in dating. Disclaimer, this data is not meant to offend anyone. These are just findings from data accumulated by dating apps. So you look here on the left, that is the race of the men, and mapped against...
Another thing, I hate to cut her off. Black women, I need y'all to understand something else. A big reason why black men want you to go natural is because you give off a certain type of beauty when you're natural. Like, these women like her look attractive, not because they get long straight hair, but it's because they look natural. They look to be in their natural state. I'm telling you, that really hurts your attractiveness. Y'all got to stop it.
The race of the woman. First, let's look at same race matching. It seems like the matching between the same race are more successful than mixed race. This makes sense because some people want to date within their own culture and their own race for higher understanding. Now let's look at Asian girls across different dating apps. For Asian girls matching across dating apps, Asians to Asians of course match the most, but surprisingly for DH, it does seem that there's a higher percentage of Asian women matching with white men. As for matching with black and Latino guys, it is pretty much equal, a little bit lesser than Asians and whites, but not too significant. Now let's look at black girl. Black girl seems to have the lowest match rate between all of the different races. Even within their own race, like black guys, they tend to do worse off than the Asian, Latina, and white cohorts. Latina's match rate looks pretty similar.
Okay. Why is this always the result? Do you really think they're trying to target black women? Because the pattern is to throw black men under the bus. Black men is the ones who's supposed to be demonized. Right? But this is the results from every single study that's had. And that, don't you think that's sad? I think that's sad. I don't get no pleasure out of knowing information like that. And it's time black women talk about it. It's beyond time. Y'all talk about your flaws. We've been talking about black men's flaws for a long time. It's time to talk about your flaws. Because the world is running away from you. You're repelling everybody, even black men. At what rate do black men date interracially? At what rate? 4 out of 5 black women overweight or obese. Yes, emotional problem, emotional issues, and that's the whole point. Let's talk about it. Why are your emotions in a dump? What are you depressed about? Yeah, these things are horrible. These things are horrible. And they look at how many people got on board with this. Oh my goodness. They got off on mocking black women. So many media outlets. And again, I saw this as motivation. Like, man, y'all better do something. You know? This ain't good. Now look at this. I know most of you have seen these. And this is on Facebook. Men from all different races prefer a partner of another race over their own. Now that's hard. That's hard to believe. That's probably a lie. Do y'all believe that? Really? Black men and women receive fewer responses to their messages. So what does that sound like? It sounds like they better date each other, right? Sound like they're the best match for each other. That should be motivation to be nice. Be cooperative. You probably shouldn't be sarcastic right now. Don't be condescending. But black men have an easier time dating other races. And it's really, when black women date interracially, it's dangerous. You're not a man. You're not a man. It's life-threatening. It's not the same. More motivation to be nice, be cooperative. Look at this. What is this? Women responding to men. Lowest responses. Black female here. Lowest responses from white men. 5.4%. Which is crazy. Men responding to women. Lowest response rates. Black men responded to women 16.4%. Black women was black men's lowest response rate. So they responded to another race more often than they respond to black women. Why? Is it because they don't like black women? No. She was probably fat. Probably obese. She most likely was. Black men are running away from the fat too. I'm one of them. Black woman. I'm a single black man. I rented a 2-bedroom just so I could turn one of them to a home gym. That's how serious I am. A black woman get with me, she gonna seriously have to step her game up. I don't care if she make more money than me. She gonna have to step her game up. White men responded to black women least often. Asian, Latino men, this is embarrassing. And then when you actually look at black women as a whole, you see why. You don't only see the obesity. Listen, even if you had natural hair, that obesity, the weight issue, would be a huge hindrance for you. It would be a breaking point still. And you still might be the least desired, even if you all were natural and didn't look so funny with that. Listen, bottom line is that's not your DNA. You don't put anybody's hair on your head. You don't do, period. Many of the men in the world look at you as if you have a mental illness. Y'all got to stop this. Unbelievable. black men responded to them. Do y'all think this could have happened in, let's say, 1972? You think black men would have responded to black women least? You think black men would have been more likely to respond to white, like Asian, Latino women in those days? I don't think so. They're like destroying themselves and don't care. Why don't y'all care? Why doesn't it bother you? That you're the least desired by far, to the point where you're being made mockery of, and people have monetized mocking you. Women responding to men, highest rate responses. Black women responded highest and most to black men. Okay, according to this study. White women, white men. Asian women, white men. Latino women, white men. Ain't that interesting? You can see how, the white man is very much desired. Isn't he? By all races of women. The control of image is very powerful. Oh, yes. But the thing about this is, black men are not the least chosen group of men. According to all studies I've seen, they're usually preferred over Asian men. That's just embarrassing. Man responding to women, highest response rates. Black men responded to Asian women the most. I can contest to that. They're darker, right? But that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I mean, everybody loves Asian women. I guess Latino men responded to Asian women more. White men and black men. Everybody want an Asian woman. But that's not a reason to put Asian women's hair on top of your head. Again, that's only making matters worse. Black woman, why don't you take advantage? I've asked this 1,000 times. Why don't you take advantage of your differences? You are designed, I said this before, to display a different type of beauty. You are designed, let me inform black women on this. You're designed to reveal your neck more often, which automatically gives you a different look. Whenever you reveal your neck, you display a different energy of beauty. Why don't you take advantage of it? If you just stop snagging and pulling on your hair, pick it, comb it, brush it, shape it, which is some, cute necklace on, earrings, not too much makeup now. I prefer, that's another reason why men love Asian women so much. They rarely wear makeup. That's attractive. That's attractive. We don't like makeup. Most of us don't like makeup. I don't want to see no paint. I don't want to get no me. And the natural human skin gives off, it has a look, a luster, a shine that enhances your appearance. Stop whacking off your eyebrows and drawing new ones. Stop putting on those ridiculously long eyelashes. I don't care how many other women wear them. Even if you don't want to date black men, y'all should do this. Get a gym membership. Be more active. Intermittent fast. I've been doing intermittent fasting for 5 years now. My window is only 4 hours long. I go 20 hours a day with no food, and I feel fine. Discipline. Self-discipline will make you more desirable as a woman because you'll be healthier, right? It'll be a new you. I sort of feel sorry for Asian men because they're viewed as the smartest, but they're the least desired. How's that work? What that shows you is a lot of women are attracted to the look of a man. Black men seem to be, big and muscular and manly looking. That's why we have a little more success dating out. Right? Now I remember this one. I shared this one before. I can't believe how many media outlets did a story on this. Odds favor white men, Asian women on dating apps. Okay, let me pull that up. Okay. Whoa. All men seem to be more interested in people outside their race. Black men and black women get the lowest response rates to their messages. All women except black women are most drawn to white men and men of all races. So if black women prefer black men, be nice. Do what we tell you to do. Don't try to dominate us. Do what we tell you to do. We're not going to hurt you. We're not going to tell you to do nothing that's bad for you. Everything we tell you to do, it'll help you. Everything. Why don't you just look at us like that? We are a group of people here to help you, to be a partner. But y'all are dedicated to not doing what we say. That's only going to hurt you. It's only going to hurt you. And again, this study said that most people prefer Asian women. Black women respond the most. Wow. They're having fun putting this kind of stuff out. Basically saying black women are the most desperate, yet the least chosen. Black women most likely to respond. Why? Because they're the most single, most desperate, most lonely. It's sad. And they're getting off putting this out. White men get more replies from almost every group. Listen to that. White women prefer white men. Asian and Latina women prefer white men even more exclusively. That is interesting. But you don't really see those Latino women saying that they dating white men because Latina men are bums, dusties, in jail, in gangs, and a bunch of them are deadbeats. They're not launching no anti-Latina male crusade. They're just dating them. Again, black men would be the same way if black women didn't point towards us as the reason them swirling. We wouldn't have cared. Angela Hill, married to a white man. Black men respect Angela Hill because Angela Hill shows respect for herself, her identity, and she always gives respect to her ancestry. Whether or not she's acting on it, who cares as far as her choice of mate. It's not about who you date. Stop thinking that we are hung up on that. It's the fact that you claim to do it because we dysfunctional. No, you just love them men. But you still know, this proves that y'all still aware that we are the most likely to date you. That should be motivation to be more cooperative with black men. White women prefer white men. Right. Okay, let's look at another one. These things have been conducted so many times over a long period of time. Well over a decade now, they've been conducting these studies. Well, yeah, some of them are outright disrespectful, though. Let me see here. Race figures in dating. Won't put no apps. Oh, boy. What percent impact does race have on it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Racial preference. Oh, it's 2009. Here's what men preferred in their women. Asian women. Asian men rating, 11%. Okay, I don't even understand this thing. Oh, no. This is goofy. Question. Black women. Oh, man. Question. Do you care about yourself? If so, isn't that motivation? Like, do you want to be laid up in a hospital at a young age, fighting for your life, all because don't many of you eat fruit and vegetables now? You might eat it with a pizza, with a double Whopper with cheese, in between meals. But you enjoy it, right? It's not horrible tasting food, is it? Do you think strawberries are nasty? Blueberries or bananas? Apples, peaches, mango, dragon fruit, kiwi. Do you find these foods nasty? If not, I have a question. Why isn't that the only food you eat? Do you like rice? Brown rice? Maybe like chicken fried rice? You can have chicken and rice on a healthy diet. Because I understand many of you don't want to be vegan. You just can't. You can be very healthy and not be a vegan. That just has to be the majority of your diet, fruit and vegetables. You can maybe have one good meal where you have, some meat content. Keep your fat intake low. Easy. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. Modest sodium. You won't need much sodium anyways. Because you're going to have to retrain your taste buds to be sensitive to salt. Right? When you first start your diet, you eat nothing but fruit and vegetables. And that'll get your body used to not much salt or no salt. It's really no salt in fruit and vegetables for the most part. Trust me, it's virtually no salt compared to putting salt on your food. Then after a few days, maybe a week, the slightest little bit of sodium will seem like a lot more to your taste buds. And that's when you can add a tiny pinch to, say, a plate of chicken and rice. And it will taste just as flavorful. It's very easy to eat healthy. Y'all have to find the motivation from somewhere. It's all about psyching yourself into it. like me, I'm totally content with my diet, just fruit, vegetables, and beans. I got to do something. And this is another thing. The world likes to hear stuff like this. So when they put out studies like this, it gets a lot of views. It gets a lot of traffic. That's why they make these little studies. People like to hear about how much men don't want black women. I mean, come on, man. Y'all got all the motivation and reason in the world to be the healthiest people in this country. Oh, what have I stumbled on here? What have I accidentally pulled up here? A LGB? What is this? Senate of adults who say, oh no, get out of here. Okay, we know what the studies say. My question is, like, what do you think about all this stuff? There's a lot of things that, there's a lot of things that I've already talking about right here on this live stream. Why don't you get the motivation? I was motivated to be a gym rat just because I wanted to look better and feel better about myself because I valued myself. Like, why don't y'all have that or similar value? Discipline. You can't be up late at night. You can't be eating certain foods. Some foods you just should never eat, period. I don't know. But I wish y'all the best of luck. Not just for you, for myself. Because if I ever find this, right now, an ideal black a wife for me, it's like a fiction. It's like unrealistic. So I've already told myself I most likely never get married. Never. Listen. No other group can make as much of a statement than black women changing their ways. Nothing would get as much coverage and attention than that. And it would be shocking. They would shock black men. They would shock everybody. That's only possible because you're in a below average state of existence. I'm telling you why these numbers exist the way that they do. As a whole, you're seen as not even being on a standard level, base level of existence. You can't be respected in the world with the type of culture that you embrace, that's prevalent among black females. As a female, you're expected to be respectful, gentle, soft-spoken, not combative, hard to deal with, uncooperative. You're going to have to show some pride in what you are. That is a must. That is a must. You're going to have to read books. Oh, yes. Because black men like to read books. Black men like to read. And a lot of the knowledge black men have gained has empowered them. Myself, for example, I was a hoodlum. I got into fights in school, joined a gang, dropped out of high school. I used to steal. I would go into Kmart and steal VCRs, sell them. I was a hoodlum. Went to jail for it. Did 10 days in jail. It wasn't until I developed like awareness, information. The things that I was learning boost my self-esteem. It made me feel like I was more than I once thought I was. Right? That's what history does for all people. It's cultural for a lot of other groups. And it changed me. I may have became isolated from a lot of people only because I had to remove myself from everything and everybody toxic. Exercise self-discipline. Cut off dating. Now I'm a totally different person. A lot of people I grew up with, dead, in jail, strung out. I'm sort of an anomaly in the family. And I think that's what's been missing. That's one of the things that's been missing in black women's development. You look at black American history. Most of the teachers, the scholars, almost all of them are black males. This is something black men value. We value knowledge. Don't call us Hotep if we're just sharing information with you. If your men value knowledge, why don't you get behind them if knowledge is beneficial, if it can help you? Things I learned help build character in me. It helped me to become a man, grow into a man, behave like a man, be responsible and disciplined. This is missing with a lot of black women. Like, why don't y'all see the brilliance in your group of men? We all black people. Why are black men moving different? They tried to tell them and brainwash them that they were superior. They've been doing that ever since slavery. This started in slavery. Another reason why black men are so turned off by it. It's like, how can you still be encouraging, embracing the social setting or dynamic social relationships that was established in slavery, during slavery? I mean, what is this? A few times you would hear reports of black man somewhere getting shot. And then only to find comments or videos from black women somewhere talking about how it's justified. Oh, these are bullet bags, they're dusties. Black women are the last group of women that should be talking like that. Currently, they say things that a lot of the groups of women don't say. They definitely do a lot of things that other groups of women don't do. Is that why they're the most single? Or is it because black men are just, what are we? What are we? Why are we running away from black women if it's not because of the things I'm talking about? What's the real reason? We supposedly just don't like black women for what? For what reason? See, it's hard. You can't think of nothing. We've done nothing. Nothing. But somehow, we've been made into the enemy. All because of propaganda that was co-signed by too many black women. So it's making black men look at you like their enemy. And they're all over the internet saying it. Lord, I tried to warn, but I made that channel like 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. It was so easy to see this coming. And now today you see, everywhere you look, black men are making statements like that. These are our enemies. They hate us. They hate black boys. Many of these black men are reflecting on their childhood, realizing that their own mothers were anti-black male. Many of those horrible beatings they got was because of how anti-black male they were. So it's deep. It's psychological rebellion away from black women. These are scary times, serious times. Now listen, I'm too much of a fan of my own history and culture to want to see it erased. I understand the black men who don't want other black men to date black women. As crazy as that may sound, a lot of black men don't want to see other black men's lives be destroyed, especially with black men who've been through things. What can you say? But the bottom line is, man, no other group of women have such a bad image. Asian women's image, for example, is it in shambles right now? Is it in any way or remotely attacked or under the spotlight? Does it look bad in any way? And if so, what? How? Can't think of nothing. Latina women. When most people hear the phrase Latina woman, they think positive things. Same with Asian women. They think a good cook, big butt. They're seen as a little more sassy than white women, but they're not seen as hostile, especially towards men, their own men, whatever. Other groups of women don't have this stigmatized image like black women. Y'all got to treat this as being more important than your desire to swirl. Y'all need to start a respect black men movement, and it need to be harder and more heartfelt than y'all swirl move, y'all divestment movement, or it was your Me Too movement. Y'all even had movements where you were trying to project black men as rapists and predators. Why is it so easy again for these racist stereotypes to be co-signed with by y'all? For so many of you. Why are you so flippin' anti-black? Y'all gotta snap out of it. Snap out of it. We all gonna die. Y'all about to kill us all with this madness. I get it. You went through traumatic experience generationally. I get it. But men, black men are further in their recovery than you. So you need to get with them and do what they doing. I hate to sound arrogant, but y'all need to catch up with us and stop disrespecting us. Get your butt in the gym. Get up off the couch and walk, dance, whatever you got to do. Stop eating this garbage. You mean you can't eat right for 80 years? And really, what am I talking about? Let's say you're 30 years old now. You can't eat a clean diet for 50 years? You're not on this earth that long. It'll help you get a man, help you do all kind of stuff. Y'all got to shape up. Flat out. Flat out, you got to shape up. Anytime I talk to a non-black man, they ain't got nothing but negative stuff to say about black women. If they say something positive, it's always in regard to black women as hoes or thoughts. It's always negative. Right? People. This is this point in history stands out. Whenever you got a certain demographic that's rejected, even rejected by their own men, more so than other men reject their women. And this is after an influx of black males being raised by single mothers. How in the world are single mothers got sons coming out of their homes running away from black women as mates? Is it really those black boys' fault? Did they make themselves like that? Did you grow up calling them names? Beating them incessantly? Talking down on them nonstop? Black boys should have come out of single mother homes head over heels in love with black women. Y'all had the opportunity to groom them. So what in the world, what is going on with y'all? I need to know what's going on. Again, I went back into the dating market recently, and I'm shocked at how bad black women look in it. Black men don't look nearly as bad in the dating market. Don't look nearly as bad, period, man. Period. And there's far more black women today who are poor. Homelessness is on the rise with black women. You know what? There is a campaign, a movement among black women today. It's to move to another state because their Section 8 vouchers don't work no more. They're all over the internet talking about their experience recently moving to another state. Unbelievable. History is going to record weaves. People not even going to believe it. If we survive this will be a story to tell. They used to put their whole head of hair on their head. Sad stuff. Black women, y'all gotta snap out of it. You gotta snap out of it.
But what is this? I guess I'm late for the party because I'm just now seeing this on social media. But what is this? And if it's not the definition of playing in our face, and the next question is, what are we going to do about it? Because I'm thoroughly pissed. And if this doesn't open some people's eyes about what they think about us and how they feel about us and how we don't really matter to them, if this doesn't open some people's eyes, I don't know what will. Because this is effing ridiculous. What is this? Somebody tell me. What are your feelings about this? Like this post and comment below. I don't know what we need to do to make these people feel our wrath other than to not spend our money with them. This is ridiculous.
And then you got big old Lizzo. Now they're trying to promote fat black women. They're trying to encourage them to get fat and blow up, or at least to not care if they blow up. They want to make the obese black women feel better about being obese. Why y'all think they're doing that? The whole world, they just want the worst for you. The only friends you got is black men. You're trying to ally with societies that's making mockery of you. Wearing the literal hair that come from the people who make these toys about you. Y'all gotta snap out of it. You gotta snap out of it. Y'all wrote these goofy, not only wrote them, you wrote these goofy swirling books by the dozens. And y'all consumed them on a mass level. Y'all flocked to scandal because you got off on the thought of being a side piece to a powerful white man, which is what Dorothy Dandridge's mother did back in the 1920s. They've been doing this for a long time, wanting to be a side piece. How did that blow up? How did that become popular among black women? How could it possibly? To look at it as a good thing, to be a concubine to a man who refused to marry you. Again, Dorothy Dandridge's mother was in an affair with a powerful white man who was married after she divorced her black husband that she had a kid by because she thought she could level up. Black men are looking at how so many black women look at us as being the lowest tier of men. And to get a white guy, no matter what he looked like, Mexican guy, whatever, you're taking a step up by doing that. Like, really? Again, why all the anti-blackness? What's this anti-black? Black men is feeling that energy. And they running away from it. It's like the last straw. Many of these pro-black men included. They're probably talking that pro-black stuff 10 years ago. They pumped the brakes on that. State of emergency. Black men are the only group of men who can truly appreciate how you look. Flat out. Who can look at you not as a fetish. Right? Who don't objectify you. They're the only ones capable of fully appreciating you, no matter if you're natural or not. No matter if you're in the hair weave or not. And you are the group who want to start a swirl movement. The group of women who is really only desired by their group of men. You want to start an interracial dating movement? How did that go? That didn't work out well. That started a while ago. Are they more married now than then? No. And virtually every one of them who supported swirling didn't have a white man themselves. It was just a black male smear campaign. Many of them never had a white boyfriend at all. They just got off on attacking black men in our image. Black men are fed up. We already being attacked nonstop without black women's attacks. Many of us, if we're not going to deal with it at home, no. And the problem is, black men, more and more black men are refusing to date black women, but they're not having trouble dating. They're having a lot easier time snagging those white girls, Latina girls. Easier time than black women are having snagging those white men and other groups of men. So that's my little bit of advice. It's time to do some self-reflection. Black men hold themselves accountable for their problem, their issues. You always have, always will. Black women need that same work. Because it's probably that ridicule that kept us on top of our game. Black men are an incredible group of people because they lead by example. You see, once we say black is beautiful, we can just do it once. Black women got a snap out of it. There's channels out here on YouTube that really can't be argued against. And it's believed that, well, it is said in some circles that all black men have to do is tell the truth about black women. All they have to do is tell the truth about black women to get the upper hand. But black women have to lie on us. It's like, why? What's actually going on in y'all's heads? You can't be the most combative, attitude having boss chick in the world if you're the least desired in the world. That's a bad combination right there. You should try the opposite. Be nicer. Be more cooperative. Supportive. Not argumentative. Admit when you're wrong. Admit when you're wrong. Honestly. Don't try to be the head of the household. It's the man that got to put his life on the line for you, not you for him. Somebody break into the home, the man is the one expected to defend it. You only get to the woman after you get through the man. That's a natural role men have. That's why they're the natural head of household. We go into relationships making sacrifices. That's one of them. We're expected to die for you. We're expected to give our lives for you. For you to have that level of security, your only job is to be respectful and cooperative. What are you waiting for? Shout out to everybody. I had to get this. I had to have a chit chat with black women for a while. I'm a big fan of. That's another thing. Black women, y'all need to study history, whether you like it or not, and regain a true appreciation for your ancestors and their experiences. Connect with their experiences, with what they went through. Connect with it. Examine their brilliance, their resilience. Give credit to how they fought against slavery and oppression, while at the same time breaking records in so many different things, evolving the world in many areas, especially music. Helped evolve the modern world, contributed, and we're talking about black men. Y'all need to regain respect for men, period. Look at the world around you. Inside your house. Go outside your house. Look at the world around you. Every single thing you see was built by men, conceptualized by men, and thought of by men. Men envisioned it and then built it. Every single thing you see, other than trees and grass, and even that's been manipulated by men. Our natural role is to create the world you live in. Our natural role is to make life more comfortable for you. For us, obviously. But for you as well. You're going to enjoy that as well. That's why we're not equals. We're not equals. That's not to downplay the role of women carrying the baby. In fact, it is because they carry the baby, nurture the baby, and have the babies. That's why so many men are willing to give their life and to facilitate the comfort of your existence. Men respect childbirth. Again, that's a natural role. But you've got to submit. Simple as that. You have to submit to men's leadership. There's some elements where black women can be the leaders. Okay. In terms of family, black women would be the primary leaders of the girls. But the girls their discipline will be shaped by their fathers. Their fathers is going to put them in a routine where they go to bed at a certain time, do certain things when they wake up, do certain things throughout the day. Men think long term. We view everything in terms of survival. And what black women are doing now as a whole, they put themselves on the path to extinction. And by default, you put us, black men, on the path to extinction as well. So it's important for y'all to snap out of this stupor. Again, this is not secret. It's not anything people are making up. It's so out in the open. It's being financially monetized. You can feel and touch it. Do you know, if you were to grow your natural hair out, let's say you grew it out to a big gigantic afro. And after you did that, let's say you cut it off from the root. You cut it off. You took a pair of scissors, or no, clippers, and ran it across the scalp, your scalp. It's an afro now. Do you think you could then put that hair into a bag and give it to a white woman or an Asian woman? You think they'd seriously walk around their own people with that on their head? With your literal hair? Think a white woman would do that? Now the Asians, they got this Afro thing going on, but that's understand, that's like less than 1% of their population, some small little niche. And it's something they do their natural hair that makes it curly. Even they're not wearing no Negro's hair. I don't think they're willing to do that. White woman put some real black person's hair on their head and go into a white family reunion. The white man in her family, that's not gonna fly. And once they find that, as soon as they see it, they're gonna ask questions. What is that? What are you doing? And when I say Afro, I'm talking like real unbothered Afro hair, like this. How many white women you think you could get to put this on their hair, sew this in there? First of all, to French braid their own hair to their scalp, and then sew some black people hair. You think they do that? They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. It's more about what doing something like that means. It's tells you that there's other things, serious things going on in their minds. And listen, y'all got to stop calling this black male bashing too. Ain't no bashing. Again, we're dealing with the truth. We're not dealing with no stereotype, something made up, propaganda. No. And again, you're not going to be praised just because you go natural. You're not going to get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. But you'll get credit for not doing what you're not supposed to do. You're not. I mean, it's like, hey, good job. Stop behaving like you're mentally ill. Thank you. I appreciate that you stop, acting out that plantation mental illness. That's all it is, man. The whole weave culture is plantation culture. As it relates to Black American, it's plantation culture. Y'all got to strip the plantation off yourselves. All that zaddy worship, that's that plantation energy. Right? Your hot comb, your weave, your bundles, your yaki. It's all plantation culture. That's what black men don't like. They serious about it, man. They're not playing no games. Man, black women are getting slaughtered on social media. If you want to reflect on this black male, black female war, okay, if we're going to look at it, black women are getting obliterated. Just on terms of the debate aspect of it. What's true, what's not true, who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth. Let's hear both sides of the story. Black women are getting obliterated. They can't say nothing negative or bad about black men at all. But the bad things about black women are so obvious, different groups have monetized it. Even when they project black men as gangsters, in the real world, that's a tiny minority. That's not over 50% of black male population. Ain't in no gangs. Go ahead, tell me the worst thing about black men. We're so despicable and so terrible and dysfunctional. What's the worst thing about us? And you can't mention gangs. And you can't. So what? Let's hear it. We're what? Black men are what? Deadbeats? Wrong. Abusive? Wrong. Black men are hardened. We come off as a little more stern. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what we need right now. Extra discipline. The position we're in, we've been in for a while, we need more discipline in other people. Stricter diets. So good luck to you. It's just not looking good. They'll say, if you don't, man, black women influence the whole net. Okay. You say black women influence the whole net? That's interesting. Elaborate on that. And black women they have set many trends. They are trendsetters just like black men. You know, and quiet as kept. I think that the country in general relies on black people to start trends. Always have. Ever since the early 1900s and even before then. They look towards black Americans to start and set the trends. Yeah, what lets you know, and listen, that lets you know that black woman, whatever you do, if you do it well, other people are not going to embrace it. You're going to set trends and start trends. You're not starting no trends by taking their hair, putting their hair on your head. Ain't no other women in the world about to follow suit with that. And don't talk to me. Don't even start saying white girls wear weave and all that stuff. Stop it with that. I don't ever want to hear that again, ever. That's so terribly and pathetically just been debunked. Just stop it with that. Yeah, we facing extinction. That's the problem. That's the problem. We're facing extinction. And we got to be careful of things we say. Because it's going to influence people of the future. But I got my criticisms. But it's no different from what other men are saying. We're all saying the exact same things. Many black men you run across that ain't never even really heard other content creators, other black men, they end up saying the exact same things. Everybody can't be crazy. Yeah? Let's stop it, man. Like, what is it going to take to get black women to look at themselves in the mirror and say, I got to take this weight off. I'm too big. This is not healthy. Food ain't that important. Yeah, look at yourself in the mirror and say that. Burgers ain't that important for me to be looking like this. To be unhealthy like this. Be damaging my heart. The taste of pizza ain't that important. Is that true or not? Huh? You better eat a pineapple and be happy. All you need is for food to be in your stomach. This is how you have to look at it. Again, it's self-discipline. But I feel I'm telling you right now, I wish I could eat pizza and stay healthy and not gain weight. Burgers, barbecue, but I can't. So I got to make the sacrifices. And because I've been making these sacrifices for years now, I'm very healthy. I'm in very good shape for a 46-year-old. Right? I still got my abs and all. So I'm benefiting from the sacrifices that I've made. But if you want the end results, you have to make the sacrifices. They don't want to do that. Too many of them don't want to do that. It's like, wow. And again, a lot of black men just giving up. They're giving up. And listen, you also got to understand the propaganda that's mounting up against you, when so many people, media outlets and whatnot, they put stuff out here like this. Over time, it makes it easier for people to mistreat you. Because as soon as they see you, they see all the negative things they heard. The only way to change that is to be living proof that you're not what they say. Let's say they started a respect black men, get in shape movement, and they all start hitting the gym. Well, they couldn't mock you for being obese no more. The average black woman is not obese. See, as long as you exercise discipline, can't nobody mount nothing. Discipline and self-respect and dignity. Weight's an issue. Attitude is an issue. Black women, y'all got to be honest with yourselves. You've heard other black women say some nasty, evil things about black men. Some black man, somewhere. You don't hear black men getting that low down. We're quicker to just leave the whole situation we're not going to let you drag us, at least not me. I'm not about to respond to the things that some of them say by saying the same thing only in the reverse. Then I'm at your level. You got to do something about the attitude, man. The personality, the weight, all of that. How many black men feel sorry for you? I'm trying to help you.
Man.
Yes.
When was the last time you weighed yourself?
A few weeks ago. But I have been working out. Can you give me that?
No.
I have been working out. You're not going to give me
that?
that?
I can't give you nothing without no kids and no husband. I can't give you that. You should be able to put 110 pounds. That's what your grandma was, your great-grandma was.
Whoa. She looked surprised. You 5'1"? 5'1"? She heavier than me. Well, no, she ain't. I think she 150. But still, I'm only like 13 pounds heavier than her. And I'm 6'1", and she 5'1". Sat up there, I'm working out. I'm a dress size 8.
Before they had this.
Okay.
My point is, women show the men of the world what you think we deserve by your attitude and your appearance.
Okay.
So, a woman who wants to be married.
Shame on. Wait, I hate to cut them off. Shame on y'all. Every single black woman on the planet. Shame on you for saying anything negative about Kevin Samuels. I recently got into his content recently, as in within the past few weeks. Shame, and I've watched dozens of hours worth of his material. Shame on every single one of you. Especially so after he passed, and you was talking about now he's maggot food or making very insulting comments after he passed. That man was trying to help y'all. He was respectfully. He was like a father. He's being like a father to some of these women. Grown women who's calling in. He was like the father talking to a child. So many of them got this childlike mentality. Lack of self-discipline is one of them. Part of being a child. Can't control yourself. Can't control what you, I just got to do it. I got to do it. Just like a kid.
Kids. And you're saying that the behavior and everything else that women have today is not their responsibility. It's society, it's social media.
No. It is our responsibility. But I thought you was asking, what do I feel like has conformed or made that shift within us? I do think that it is our own responsibility, and we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say what we
happened
need
before
to do to change.
What happened before 2000? Social media.
It wasn't really prevalent.
Shit, if it wasn't, go back to the movies of the 90s.
Okay.
What's love got to do with it? Waiting to exhale. I don't want no scrubs. Are you kidding? It's not social media. But you guys are under nobody's control or authority or leadership. Okay. You're free to do whatever you want.
Well,
only God can judge you.
I will say this. I do watch your show. Have watched it for a while now, and
How long's a while? So I know.
Oh, at least for the past 2 months. I've been.
Only God can judge me. Now, I won't even touch on that. No, the men judge you. The men judge you. We judge you. We judge you. Right? Who are you looking for? Men or women? And in the influx of, painting single mothers as not a big deal, something men shouldn't be concerned about. No. I'm talking about women who wanted these men to be stepdaddies. I was surprised. I was surprised at how many of them expect the new man or some other man, any man other than the child's father, to take care of their kids. It's remarkable to me. As if the kid is just some type of object. Right? Just a means to get a boost on their income tax return. And, and what's with so many black women using their income tax returns, using their little saved up money or saving up money to get BBLs. I just recently found out what a BBL was just a few weeks ago. Had no idea what it was. I knew women who were out here getting fake butts, but I didn't know nothing about it. That seemed like something from outer space. Right? A BBL. Again, if you ask me, that's just a sign. Something ain't right upstairs. It's a dangerous operation. You could die. And it's just a disgrace. Why would you want something in your body like that? A fake butt? There was this one, man, I recently saw a girl online. It was her own video. She shared her photos. Their butts don't even look real. Why'd you want a big, giant, planet-looking butt that don't even look real? And she shared the story of how people were talking about her. Everybody making fun of her. How silly it looks. Y'all going through too much extremes with the the cosmetics. That ain't even cosmetics. Can't call no butt implant cosmetics. Look, having a big butt ain't that serious. It ain't that important. I don't care. Listen, I'm saying that as a man. Right? I'd rather you have a flat butt long as it's real. You're way more valuable to me than a chick with water balloons in her butt. Lord. Uh-oh. Oh, snap. Oh, that's crazy. All right. So that's my plea to black women. I've been on here 3 hours. It's been a 3-hour stream. So I can put this subject to bed and move on to other things. I'll see y'all on the next live.